Hi.
Hola.
Hi, hier ist Mr. Döse.
This is Michael Bradley.
Hey, I'm Memphis.
Hey.
Hola. Hello.
I'm here with soccer.com.
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 And I'm talking with my friends soccer.com.
See you soon.
Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas A16.1 Primeknit in the latest white solar slime, shock blue, and black colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag to go along with the shoes. The string bag is made from a perforated mesh material, shock blue in color with black strings, and then as you guys can see it does have the Primeknit branding in black going down the side and the Adidas football logo there at the bottom left corner. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the way really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at what is a really good looking colorway of the A16.1 Primeknit in my opinion. It's the first deviation away from the color combination of pink and lime green, which me at least, I'm pretty happy about that. I wasn't crazy about that color combo. These to me look a lot better. So in this video, we are of course going to take a detailed look at the colorway itself. We're going to talk tech specs, performance, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as talk about how these things fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular colorway of the A16.1 Primeknit, please stick around and watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair for yourself, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $250 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. All right, to start things off, let's take a closer look at the colorway. Now, this is a really interesting color combo in that the majority of the upper is white and gray, which for me at least really reminds me of a sock. If you think of a classic sock, white sock with a little bit of gray at the heel, a little bit of gray at the toe. That's what these really remind me of. And then of course you have the lime green, the black, and the blue as accent colors. But nonetheless, you have a Primeknit upper, which like I said, combines white and gray. The gray is kind of an unlisted color on this particular colorway, but you do have it across the majority of the upper, as you guys can see, as well as a little bit here at the top of the collar. One thing to keep in mind is that obviously the entire upper does have that silicone coating, so you will be able to clean it off. It's still going to stain and show marks if it gets scuffed or something like that, but for the most part the white Primeknit material isn't going to get I guess stained. It's just a top layer that will be. But with that being said, you do have a collar with exposed Primeknit that is white in color. This will get dirty and this will be very, very difficult to clean once it gets, I guess, significantly dirty or stained in any way. One thing we haven't seen from Nike with their dynamic fit collars, even though those have been out for basically 2 years now, is a white collar. So we're seeing this here from Adidas. It's something to keep in mind if you are planning on picking these up, is that this particular area, after a few months of use, or if you use them in any kind of muddy or dirty environment, it's gonna look most likely very, very bad very, very quickly. So just keep that in mind. The rest of the colors on the shoe though look really good. You do have a white sprint frame, as you guys can see with the heel counter. It does have kind of a translucent effect to it. You have the shock blue translucent studs, which I think is a really neat accent color. You have the Ace logo and the Adidas logo there in blue as well. Black laces, and then of course the Adidas stripes going across the sides and top of the shoe are that solar slime kind of lime green neon yellow color at the bottom, and then it fades to black there in the middle, which again I think it looks pretty good. This is my personal favorite colorway of the A16.1 Primeknit so far. Let me know your opinions on it down below in the comment section. Do you like how these look? Why or why not? And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. From a performance standpoint, the A16.1 Primeknit is a very, very impressive shoe. We're going to go over all the details that you should know about in this video if you were at all considering these. But if you want to see these things in action and you just want to hear more opinions on the overall performance, be sure to check out my playtest video that recently went up. I'll leave an annotation to that on screen. You can go ahead and watch it if you haven't already. What you really need to know about this shoe is that, one, it features a Primeknit upper, and that's for me the main reason why you would pick these up. The second reason why a lot of people are considering these is because of their quote-unquote mid-cut design. You have this little extension piece to the collar, but in all honesty, this collar doesn't need to be here at all. It doesn't change the feel of the shoe. It doesn't change the fit of the shoe. It has no impact on performance. And to be 100% honest with you guys, you don't feel it at all when you're wearing it, which is different when compared to the Nike models, where the collar does have a bigger impact on how the shoe fits and feels in positive and negative ways. I find this shoe more comfortable than the mid-cut models from Nike out of the box. And I think that pretty much anybody who would try these out would agree with me if they've tried the mid-cut Nike models as well. But just keep that in mind. If you're really into the concept of a mid-cut shoe and you want that difference in feel from a traditional low-cut shoe, you don't get that from the A16.1 Primeknit, where you do get that from the Nike model. It's not really a bad or good thing. It's just something that is distinctly different between the two, even though they are the two main types of shoes that are, of course, being compared. So with this shoe, you do get that Primeknit upper, which is very clear to see. It's a knitted material for the upper. It's relatively thin. It does have some padding to it. It's kind of in between the Superfly and the Obra if I had to compare it to anything. It's soft, it's flexible, it gets even softer and more flexible after a few hours of wear time, and it's very, very comfortable. The structure from this shoe comes from two different things. The main element for structure on this shoe are the actual Adidas stripes, which are thin layers of TPU plastic. Still have some flexibility to it, but definitely stiffer than the rest of the upper that work from the base of the sole into the lacing system. So when you pull the laces tight, it pulls on these three stripes on either side of the shoe and really does create this locked-in sensation. They don't have any stretch to them, which makes the midfoot fit a lot tighter than what you're going to find in the forefoot and toe box area, where the upper is a lot more forgiving and does have some very slight, I guess, stretch or elasticity to it just because it isn't reinforced in any way. You also do have this kind of wrapping sensation from the actual upper, and that this side piece, that the collar piece that extends into what is essentially the tongue, does have extension pieces that run down the side as well, which doesn't necessarily add to the overall structure and support of the upper, but it does feel really nice on your foot, and I guess adds to the overall kind of one-piece like feel that this shoe does offer to a certain extent. The upper is finished off, or covered I should say, in kind of a thin silicone layer, clear in color, as well as the non-stop grip dots on top of that, which are supposed to be Adidas' variation of Nike's ACC, All Conditions Control technology. And really, just like ACC, it's one of those features that it doesn't make or break your experience with the shoe, and in my opinion, it doesn't really it's not a noticeable feature. It's just one of those things that's there, you get it, and that's great. There's really nothing else to be said about it. Laces run through the middle, as you guys can see. I do have the little cutouts in the tongue, which I'm personally not crazy about, but doesn't really bother me either. They do tout that as kind of like a control feature, but covering up the laces where they crisscross 4 times on the shoe obviously isn't going to help your control in any way at all. And if you believe that it will, then, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but the back part, this is where things get a little bit interesting. You do have what they call their prime cut collar, which, again, it's not necessarily a copy of what Nike is doing, but it's kind of the trend in soccer shoes right now. People really like the idea of having a shoe that extends past a normal low-cut soccer cleat. It looks different, and it's kind of exciting to a certain extent. With that being said, this is, like I said at the start of this video, nothing like what you're going to find from Nike. This collar piece, this extension piece, does not need to be there. You don't feel it. It doesn't take any getting used to. It doesn't offer any ankle support. It's not even cut that high. It's not as high cut as what you're going to find from the Nike models. And again, it just doesn't change the feel of the shoe in any way. It's just a little bit of an extension piece that's there for the sake of being there, and that's the best way I can describe it. You can actually see the edge of the shoe where it's cut like a normal soccer cleat, and that's how the shoe feels when you put them on. It has this sock-like opening, but once your foot's in there, you won't feel any different than pretty much any other shoe that you've worn, unless you're comparing it to the mid-cut models from Nike, which, like I said, legitimately do fit and feel different, mainly in the heel area. So inside, you do have the top part being a Primeknit kind of lining with some padding backing it, and at the very base you have a synthetic suede material, which is actually really nice and does a good job of locking your heel in place. There's plenty of padding back there, and like I said, it feels quite normal in comparison to the Nike models, which are comparatively a lot stiffer and more uncomfortable from right out of the box. They take more getting used to, whereas these are pretty much ready to go from brand new, which is a very, very good thing. The insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. Mesh liner on top, perforations through the first I guess 3/4 of the actual insole, and then it's just a single layer of black foam. Same insole we got with the Ace 15.1, just move forward here with the 16.1 branding. And then of course you have the sprint frame construction, which does include the one-piece heel counter, fully external, which I really like. And then of course the sole plate, which is a thin plastic, but it does have some stiffness and rigidity to it. You have the stiffener bars running through the heel and midfoot area, so it's flexible in the right places and stiff in the places that it should be as well. And then you have their ground control 2.0 FG-AG stud pattern, which as you guys can see is the same layout we've been seeing from Adidas for quite some time now, basically since it was first introduced in 2010, just with all conical studs this time around. They have rebranded it as FG-AG, whereas previously to this has really only ever been an FG only stud pattern. Does it work on artificial grass? Yes. My playtest video is actually on artificial grass. That's where I have the majority of time in my testing with this particular shoe. Is it a true true AG stud pattern? Sorry, not really. It definitely does feel like more of a firm ground stud pattern, but it's not clingy. I never really had any issues with stud pressure, and it does perform decently well on artificial grass. So if you only want to buy one pair of shoes, if you play on firm ground and artificial grass, or you just play exclusively on AG fields and you need an AG shoe, these will get the job done, despite being not necessarily the best suited for artificial grass in my opinion. And of course performance on natural grass, being that this is the same firm ground stud pattern we've been seeing from Adidas for quite some time now, is obviously very good. It's pretty proven at this point, and like I said, it works well as advertised, I guess is the best way of putting it. So that's pretty much it as far as tech specs go. It's a very impressive shoe. It does have that knitted upper, it does have that sock-like sensation and kind of a unique feel and touch on the ball from the Primeknit construction. But in terms of comparing these to the mid-cut models from Nike, in terms of fit, in terms of feel, and in terms of how the mid-cut aspect of this shoe changes your experience with the shoe, this really to me just feels like a standard low-cut model, which, like I said, is not a bad thing at all. I find these personally more comfortable than the Nike mid-cut models. But again, that's a personal opinion, and that's something that you kind of have to determine for yourself if you're trying to decide between these and something like a Magista Obra, for example. In terms of weight, the Ace 16.1 Primeknit is relatively light, as you'd expect from a modern day top-end soccer shoe. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to be weighing them for you today in real time using this scale. So keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw them on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 8.1 ounces, the equivalent of 230 grams. So right at that 8-ounce mark. They're not incredibly lightweight. Again, if you're comparing it to the mid-cut models from Nike, these are about a full ounce heavier than something like a Superfly 4 or a Magista Obra, which is somewhat noticeable, along with the big difference in feel between the two. But again, if you're looking for a shoe that's relatively light, obviously not heavy in any way, and it's a very comfortable shoe with a knitted upper, the Ace 16.1 certainly is not going to let you down. All right, so here is a look at the Ace 16.1 Primeknits on feet. On my left foot, I have the stock black laces that come with the shoes. And on my right foot, I have a pair of blue camo SR4U replacement laces. If you're interested in a pair of replacement laces for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. You find a direct link to that website down below in the description of this video. Now, in terms of how these things fit and feel on feet, they are actually very comfortable shoes from right out of the box. The Primeknit upper, especially in the forefoot and toe box area, is super soft, very flexible, and feels very sock-like, I guess, for lack of a better term. The midfoot definitely a little bit firmer because of those Adidas stripes. You really feel the extra lockdown that they provide when you tie the laces. It's not necessarily uncomfortable, but should you tie them too tight, you might run into some issues with foot cramping. I personally didn't have too many problems though. Like I said, it's a shoe that for the most part is pretty much ready to go from right out of the box, which is definitely a good thing. No issues with the fit in the heel, unlike what you're gonna find with a lot of the mid-cut models from Nike. They just fit differently than normal shoes, where like I said, this is a traditional cut soccer shoe with an extension piece that they added on that you don't feel at all. It offers no ankle support. There's no real structure to it. You don't feel it against your ankle at all. It's just there, and that's really the best way to describe it. So don't buy these shoes expecting the mid-cut design or the mid-cut aspect of this shoe to be extremely different or something that you're gonna have to get used to. Because like I said, aside from how it looks, it impacts the shoe in no way at all. As far as width is concerned, it's going to be suitable for most foot types. As long as you don't have extremely wide feet, mainly through the midfoot area, you shouldn't have too many issues. Again, that is definitely the tightest point on the shoe, where the forefoot and toe box area definitely does have some more width to it. Not much stretch out of this shoe for the most part. The way it fits from right out of the box is the way it will fit for its entire lifespan. Again, as long as you don't have super wide feet, you shouldn't have any issues. They will fit most people. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit to length is absolutely perfect. So if you're looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of the Adidas A16.1 Primeknit. Again, if you're looking for more info on these, be sure to check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find the high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself that'll give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. And you'll also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $250 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below, go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions at all regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.